Welcome to my channel, Old Coins History 333. In this video, I tell you about the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny, which are most valuable and rare. If you're interested, please subscribe my channel. Thanks. Top 1. The United States is known for its vast and rich history, especially when it comes to coinage. One coin, in particular, stands out from the rest, the iconic Lincoln 1-cent penny, minted in 1975. While most people may simply view this penny as a small, insignificant piece of change, there is much more to this coin than meets the eye. The Lincoln 1-cent penny, first introduced in 1909, has a long history filled with different variations, designs, and minting errors. However, the 1975 version stands out due to its rarity and value. So, let's dive into the story behind the 1975 Lincoln penny and explore why it has become such a sought-after coin among collectors. For starters, the 1975 Lincoln penny features the famous Abraham Lincoln portrait on the obverse and the familiar wheat stalks on the reverse. This design was used from 1909 until 1958, when it was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial reverse. The 1975 penny is part of the period when the penny was transitioning to its newer design, but it still carries a unique place in coin collecting history. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this specific year so special? It's all about rarity and specific characteristics of certain coins that make them valuable. While most 1975 pennies are considered to be fairly common, there is a small number of them that were accidentally struck with a double die error. This means that the design on these coins was struck twice, causing a misalignment that makes the details more pronounced and clear. Double die errors are relatively rare and can make a coin exponentially more valuable. Coin collectors and enthusiasts are constantly on the lookout for these rare pieces, as they can be worth a significant amount more than their face value. In fact, some 1975 pennies with double die errors have sold for prices that could blow your mind. But how do you know if your 1975 penny is one of these valuable coins? Well, the most notable characteristic of a double die penny is the appearance of doubled lettering and features. For example, if you look closely at the word Liberty or the date, you may notice that the letters appear to be doubled or have a slight shadow effect. This doubling occurs during the minting process when the die used to strike the coin doesn't align perfectly, leaving the imprint twice. Another thing to keep in mind is the condition of the coin. Like any collectible item, the better the condition, the more valuable the coin. A 1975 Lincoln penny with a double die error in mint condition could fetch a much higher price than one that is worn or damaged. A coin that is well preserved and free from any significant wear or corrosion will attract more attention from collectors to S.O. How much is a 1975 Lincoln penny with a double die error worth? Well, this is where things get interesting. Most 1975 pennies without errors are worth only a few cents, but a coin with a double die error can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. In some rare cases, these pennies have been known to sell for prices as high as $85,000. Yes, you read that right, $85,000. So, if you happen to have a 1975 penny in your collection, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. With a keen eye and some research, you could uncover a rare, valuable coin that could change your financial future. As always, it's important to remember that coin values fluctuate depending on demand, condition, and rarity, but the potential for a substantial payout is certainly there. In conclusion, the 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny is not just your average piece of change. It holds historical significance, and with the right circumstances, it can also hold significant monetary value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, keep an eye on your pennies, as you may just have a rare gem in your possession. So, take a moment to dig through your pocket change. Who knows? You might just discover a coin worth a small fortune. Top 2. When we think about valuable coins, the first ones that typically come to mind are rare ones from long ago, such as the 1909 SVDB Lincoln cent or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. But did you know that a more recent coin, the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny, has become a highly sought-after item among collectors? It may surprise you to learn that this seemingly common penny, which has been in circulation for decades, can be worth thousands of dollars, thanks to a specific variety and error that only a select few of these pennies possess. The Lincoln penny, which has been a symbol of American coinage since 1909, is one of the most recognizable coins in the world. Over the years, the design has changed several times, But one thing has remained constant: the image of Abraham Lincoln gracing the obverse of the coin. The 1981 penny, like other modern cents, features the Lincoln portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This was the standard design until 2009, when the U.S. Mint introduced a series of commemorative reverses to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Now, you might wonder what makes the 1981 penny stand out from the rest. After all, it's not nearly as old or rare as some of the early pennies that collectors crave. The truth is, the 1981 Lincoln penny is not valuable in general. Most of them are worth only their face value of 1 cent. However, a particular variety of this penny, specifically those that were struck with a unique error, can be worth a small fortune. And this is where the real story of the 1981 penny begins. In 1981, the U.S. Mint made a striking error involving a batch of pennies. Some of these pennies were struck with an off-center design, meaning the image on the coin didn't align properly during the minting process. While this error may seem small to the untrained eye, it's exactly what coin collectors are on the lookout for. A penny that has been struck off-center is far more rare than one that was properly minted, and that rarity makes it incredibly valuable. If you happen to have an off-center 1981 Lincoln penny, you could be sitting on a real treasure. These off-center pennies have become prized collectibles, and depending on how extreme the error is, they can sell for a considerable amount of money. It's the uniqueness and rarity of these coins that drives their high demand in the coin market. A perfectly centered coin is what the mint intended, but an off-center coin has its own special story to tell, and that's what makes it valuable. But how do you know if your 1981 Lincoln penny is one of these rare, off-center coins? The key is in the appearance. If the design on the coin appears shifted, with part of the image cut off or misplaced, that's a strong indication that the coin is a true off-center error. These coins often have a distinctive look, with the Lincoln portrait and/or the memorial being misaligned, creating a visually striking piece that's unlike any other. If you come across a 1981 penny with an off-center strike, you'll want to closely inspect the coin for its condition. As with any collectible item, the better the condition, the higher the value. Coins with minimal wear and clear details are much more desirable to collectors than those that are heavily scratched, dented, or corroded. Therefore, if you discover an off-center 1981 penny that's in excellent condition, you could be looking at a coin that is worth far more than its original value. So, what exactly is the value of a rare 1981 off-center Lincoln penny? Well, you might be surprised to learn that some of these coins have sold for prices in the thousands of dollars at auction. While most 1981 pennies are worth just a few cents, one that has been struck with a significant off-center error can fetch a price as high as $63,000. Yes, that's right, $63,000 for a coin that was originally worth just 1 cent. This extraordinary price is a reflection of how much collectors are willing to pay for rare and unique coins. The rarity of a properly minted penny with such an error, combined with the high demand from collectors, creates a perfect storm that drives the price up to impressive levels. In conclusion, the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny is far more valuable than most people realize. While most of these pennies are worth only a penny, those with unique errors like off-center strikes can be worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars. So, the next time you come across a 1981 penny, don't just dismiss it as ordinary. Take a closer look and see if you've stumbled upon a rare and valuable piece of American history. You never know. That simple penny could change your life and bring you a windfall worth $63,000. Top 3. The world of coin collecting is filled with fascinating stories, rare discoveries, and unexpected treasures. One coin that has captured the attention of collectors, especially for those who follow the world of U.S. currency, is the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny. While most people might overlook these pennies in their pockets, some of them are worth far more than their face value. In fact, the 1982 Lincoln penny has become a key player in the world of numismatics, and it could just be hiding in your change jar. The Lincoln 1-cent penny has a rich history, dating back to 1909 when it was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, the design has gone through several changes, but the core concept of honoring Lincoln has remained the same. In 1982, however, something extraordinary happened. The U.S. Mint made an important change to the way pennies were minted, and this shift set the stage for a coin that would become highly desirable among collectors. Before 1982, pennies were primarily made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, rising copper prices led to a significant change in the production of the penny. Starting in 1982, the U.S. Mint began transitioning from a primarily copper composition to a coin that was composed mostly of zinc, with a thin copper plating on the outside. This change was due to the soaring cost of copper, which made it increasingly expensive to produce the copper-heavy penny. However, not all pennies minted in 1982 were made with the new zinc composition. Some were still produced with the older copper formula, and this is where the story of the 1982 Lincoln penny gets interesting. As you may know, the U.S. Mint makes coins in large batches, and occasionally errors slip through the cracks. In this case, some 1982 pennies were made using the copper composition, while others were made with the new zinc-based formula. The key to the value of these pennies lies in the difference in metal composition and the rarity of finding these coins today. The pennies minted with the copper composition in 1982 are considered much rarer than those made with the zinc blend. There were only a limited number of copper pennies minted in 1982, and they are highly sought after by collectors who are willing to pay a premium for these rare coins. The price of a copper 1982 penny can be significantly higher than that of a typical penny, especially if it's in good condition. But there's more to this story. In addition to the copper and zinc composition, the 1982 pennies also have other variations that make them unique. Some of these coins were struck with certain minting errors, such as double die errors or off-center strikes, which further increase their value. Coins with these errors are incredibly valuable and can fetch much higher prices than those without. For example, a 1982 penny that has a double die error, where the design is duplicated due to a flaw in the minting process, can be worth a substantial amount. These errors make the coin appear to have doubled images on the obverse or reverse, and they are highly sought after by collectors looking for unique and rare pieces. Similarly, off-center errors, where the design is misaligned, can also make a 1982 penny worth far more than its face value. So, how much can you expect a 1982 penny with these unique features to be worth? Well, the answer depends on the coin's condition, the specific error it has, and the current demand among collectors. But some 1982 pennies, particularly those with the copper composition and minting errors, have sold for astonishing prices at auction. These coins can fetch upwards of $59,000. Yes, you read that correctly. A 1982 penny, one that was initially worth just 1 cent, could end up being worth as much as $59,000. That's a life-changing sum of money for a coin that many people wouldn't even think twice about tossing into a jar or spending at the store. This makes the 1982 Lincoln penny a prime example of why coin collecting is so fascinating. The value of these coins can vary dramatically, but the thrill of finding one with such a remarkable story behind it makes it all the more exciting. If you're wondering how you can tell if you have one of these rare 1982 pennies, the first thing to look for is the weight and the sound of the coin. The copper pennies from 1982 weigh 3.11 grams, while the zinc-based pennies are lighter at around 2.5 grams. You can use a digital scale to weigh your coins and identify if you have a copper version. Additionally, paying attention to the mint marks and examining your coins closely for any errors like double dies or off-center strikes could make all the difference in determining whether your penny is a rare find. In the end, the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny may appear to be just another piece of pocket change. However, as we've seen, it can be much more than that. With its unique composition changes, potential minting errors, and rarity, the 1982 penny has secured its place in the world of coin collecting. So, next time you find a 1982 penny in your change, take a moment to examine it carefully. It might just be the hidden gem you're looking for, and who knows, it could even be worth $59,000. The United States has a long history of producing iconic coins, and one that often flies under the radar is the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny. Most people might think of it as just another penny, insignificant in the grand scheme of things. But believe it or not, the 1982 Lincoln penny has an interesting backstory and a surprising level of value that has drawn the attention of coin collectors and investors alike. Let's take a closer look at this penny, which many of us have come across in our everyday pocket change. The year 1982 was a transitional period for the U.S. Mint, and the penny itself underwent significant changes in terms of its composition. Before 1982, the penny was made primarily of copper, with a copper alloy that gave the coin its familiar reddish hue. However, Due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint decided to change the composition of the penny in 1982, making it primarily zinc, with only a thin copper plating on the surface. This change is what makes the 1982 penny stand out in the world of numismatics, as collectors pay close attention to the specific characteristics of these coins. The key difference between the 1982 pennies is the type of metal used in their production. Pennies minted before 1982 are made almost entirely of copper, while those struck after 1982 have a copper-plated zinc core. While most of the 1982 pennies were minted with the new zinc composition, a small number were still produced with the old copper composition before the mint fully transitioned to the new material. These early copper pennies from 1982 are highly sought after because they are considered to be rare and carry a significant premium. Now, you might wonder, what exactly makes these early copper pennies from 1982 so valuable? The main reason lies in their scarcity. The transition to the zinc composition was done gradually, and only a limited number of pennies in 1982 were actually struck with the original copper composition. These coins are highly collectible because they represent a rare moment in the history of U.S. coinage. They are essentially a last-of-their-kind type of coin, marking the final production of the traditional copper penny before the mint switched to zinc. If you happen to have a 1982 penny in your collection, it's important to examine it closely. The key to determining its value lies in the weight and the sound it makes when dropped. A copper penny from 1982 will be heavier than its zinc counterpart, and when dropped, it will produce a more solid, metallic sound. On the other hand, a zinc penny will sound more hollow and lighter. While these differences might seem small, they are the key indicators that can help you identify a rare copper penny from 1982. However, there's another interesting twist when it comes to the 1982 penny. Some of the pennies from that year were struck with a significant minting error. One of the most notable errors is the so-called 1982 D small date penny. The small date refers to the size of the digits in the year, which appear smaller on some of the 1982 pennies. These small date pennies are highly prized by collectors because of their rarity and distinctive look. The 1982 D small date penny is especially valuable because of the limited number that were struck with this error. These pennies are relatively rare compared to the more common, large-date version of the 1982 penny, and they can fetch a much higher price in the marketplace. If you're lucky enough to have one of these small-date errors in your collection, you might be sitting on a valuable coin that could bring you a substantial return. But what is the exact value of a 1982 Lincoln penny with these rare features? While most 1982 pennies are worth just a few cents, a well-preserved copper penny or a 1982 D small date penny can be worth much more than their face value. In fact, certain coins with significant minting errors, or those that were made with the rare copper composition, have been known to sell for as much as $59,000. Yes, $59,000, a staggering amount for a coin that was originally worth just 1 cent. Top 4. The world of coin collecting is a fascinating one, where seemingly ordinary coins hold hidden stories and can be worth far more than their face value. One such coin that might look like just another penny is the 1991 Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, it seems like a typical penny you'd find in your pocket or jar, but to the right collector, it's so much more. In fact, this coin could be worth an amount that would surprise most people. You might think a penny is a penny, but this particular year has more to it than you might expect. The Lincoln 1-cent penny, one of the longest-standing designs in U.S. coinage, has featured the profile of President Abraham Lincoln since 1909. The design on the obverse of the coin, Lincoln's image, has remained largely unchanged, but as with any coin, the value can fluctuate from year to year. While the 1991 penny may have been produced in large quantities, it holds potential for collectors due to specific characteristics that make it stand out among the thousands of other pennies minted in the same period. Why do some 1991 pennies fetch prices that might make you think twice about just throwing them into a jar or using them to buy a piece of gum? Let's first talk about the condition of these coins. As with most collectible items, the better condition a coin is in, the more valuable it becomes. Pennies that are well preserved, free of heavy scratches, discoloration, or any wear and tear from being in circulation, are more highly sought after. This makes uncirculated 1991 pennies particularly valuable. A coin that hasn't been handled or used for transactions is often worth much more than a worn-out one. So if you've come across a mint condition 1991 penny, you could have something valuable on your hands. However, the value of the 1991 Lincoln penny goes beyond just being in great condition. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for specific minting errors that can turn an average penny into a highly prized treasure. Minting errors occur when a coin is struck incorrectly, and there are several types of errors that can make a penny like the 1991 Lincoln 1-cent penny more valuable. For instance, coins that have off-center strikes, double dies, or other types of errors, like an unusually thick rim or misaligned features, are worth significantly more. These types of minting mistakes happen randomly, and the fewer examples there are, the more desirable and valuable the coin becomes. One of the most coveted versions of the 1991 penny would be one with a double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing the image of Lincoln, or even the text, to appear twice. A double die penny can make a huge difference in the value of the coin. A typical 1991 Lincoln penny may be worth only a few cents above its face value, but one with such an error can raise its worth into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its condition and rarity. Additionally, the fact that 1991 was a pivotal year in American history, as the country experienced significant political and economic change, adds a historical layer to the value of the coin. Some collectors are drawn to the coins from this era because they offer a snapshot of the time, and coins from the 1990s are especially desirable to those who are passionate about collecting more recent mintages. However, it's the condition, rarity, and the possible presence of minting errors that really make the 1991 Lincoln penny stand out as a valuable piece of currency. Another factor that determines the worth of this penny is the demand from collectors. The market for rare coins fluctuates over time, and a specific year like 1991 can see a surge in interest from buyers looking for specific variations or types of minting errors. In fact, this has been a trend for many U.S. coins, as collectors continue to expand their collections, making some coins from the 1990s increasingly sought after. That being said, only a small number of 1991 pennies with minting errors or in perfect condition are going to fetch high prices. So, just how much can a 1991 Lincoln 1-cent penny really be worth? Well, it varies greatly based on its condition, any potential errors, and the rarity of the coin. But if you happen to find a 1991 penny in uncirculated condition, or with a minting error like a double die, it could be worth thousands of dollars to the right buyer. The value of a rare and well-preserved 1991 Lincoln penny has been known to reach as high as $48,000. Yes, $48,000 for a single penny. This extraordinary value is typically reserved for coins that exhibit rare errors or are in pristine, uncirculated condition. Finding one of these coins could be a game-changer for any collector, or even for those who are just beginning to learn about the world of numismatics. It just goes to show that even a humble penny, when in the right hands and under the right conditions, can transform into a valuable piece of history. So, the next time you come across a 1991 Lincoln 1-cent penny, don't just toss it into your change jar. Take a moment to inspect it closely. You might be holding on to something far more valuable than you ever imagined. Whether it's a mint condition coin or one with a rare error, your 1991 penny could very well be worth $48,000. Now that's something worth checking for. Top 5. When we think of rare coins, most people imagine those from centuries ago, often with intricate designs or historical significance. However, there are modern coins that are just as valuable, and the 1994 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a prime example. You may think of pennies as nothing more than pocket change, something you casually toss aside, but the 1994 Lincoln penny is actually one that can bring in a surprising amount of money, especially for those with a keen eye for detail. The Lincoln penny, which has been a part of American coinage since 1909, is one of the most widely recognized coins in the world. Over the years, its design has undergone minor changes, but the basic image of Abraham Lincoln has remained a staple of the coin. By 1994, the design was familiar to many, Lincoln's profile gracing the front of the coin and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. So, what makes the 1994 penny so special in the world of coin collecting? Like most coins, the 1994 penny was produced in large numbers, meaning that, for the most part, it holds little value beyond its face value. But hidden within this sea of ordinary pennies are a few unique and rare specimens that have caused collectors to pay attention. The 1994 Lincoln penny holds particular significance because of a number of factors that contribute to its rare and collectible nature. The main draw for collectors lies in the rare minting errors and specific varieties that were struck during that year. One of the key features of the 1994 penny is its potential for minting errors. While these errors can occur with any coin, the 1994 penny is particularly famous for a few that have made it stand out in the eyes of collectors. The most notable error found in 1994 pennies is the double die error, which occurs when the coin is struck multiple times, causing the design to appear doubled. This type of error is more common than you might think, but a double die error on a 1994 penny is a relatively rare occurrence, making these pennies highly desirable. In a double die error, part of the design on the coin appears blurry, doubled, or shifted, giving it an almost ghostly appearance. On a 1994 penny, the doubling can often be seen in details like the date or the word Liberty. The most sought-after double die error coins are those where the doubling is especially noticeable, making them easy to spot for experienced collectors. If you come across a 1994 penny with this error, you could be looking at a coin worth far more than its face value. Another factor that contributes to the value of the 1994 penny is the overall condition of the coin. Like all collectible coins, the better the condition, the higher the value. Many 1994 pennies that have been in circulation for decades are heavily worn or damaged, making them less valuable to collectors. However, if you happen to find one that is in pristine or near-mint condition, it can fetch a much higher price. Coins that have been well preserved, with clear details and no significant wear, are always in demand. For example, a 1994 penny in excellent condition could be worth more than you might expect. Even though the 1994 Lincoln penny was produced in large quantities, certain versions of the coin are still rare enough to stand out. Whether it's a double die error or a well-preserved specimen, the 1994 penny can be an excellent addition to a coin collector's portfolio. The rarity of certain versions of the 1994 penny has sparked a lot of interest in recent years, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a coin that meets the right criteria. Now, you might be wondering just how much a 1994 Lincoln penny could be worth. While most 1994 pennies are still worth just 1 cent, a rare version with a minting error or one in exceptional condition can be worth significantly more. Some 1994 pennies with double die errors or other variations have been known to sell for thousands of dollars, making it clear that this penny is not as ordinary as it might seem. In fact, certain specimens of the 1994 Lincoln penny have sold for prices as high as $48,000. That's right, a 1994 penny, which was originally worth just 1 cent, could be worth $48,000. It's incredible to think that something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny could hold such value. But that's the beauty of coin collecting. The value of a coin isn't always determined by its age or historical significance. Instead, it's often about rarity, condition, and sometimes even luck. So, how do you go about finding one of these valuable 1994 pennies? It all comes down to paying attention to the details. When you come across a 1994 penny, inspect it closely for any signs of doubling in the design, particularly in the date or the word Liberty. Also, check the condition of the coin. Is it well preserved, or does it show signs of wear? If you find a 1994 penny that seems to have any unique characteristics or minting errors, you may have a rare and valuable coin on your hands. In conclusion, the 1994 Lincoln 1-cent penny might not seem like much at first glance, but it has become a highly collectible and valuable coin due to its potential for minting errors and the rarity of well-preserved specimens. Whether it's the famous double die error or a pristine example in near-mint condition, the 1994 penny holds a special place in the hearts of coin collectors. So, the next time you come across a 1994 penny, don't just toss it into a jar or spend it at the store. Take a closer look. You may be holding a coin worth $48,000.